Welcome back. It's Kovacs Report, and it's time to take a look at the Eisner Awards for 2025. Yes, they have come around yet again. They are huge, and I can't wait to get stuck in. I'm only going to pick out a few that I'm interested in and I have the knowledge to speak on. There are 32 categories in total, so we're not going to go through all of those. But before that happens, like the video if you like the video, hit subscribe if you can. Helps me grow the channel. I'm trying to build the most honest comic book channel on YouTube, and every time you like a video or subscribe, it helps me get that little bit closer. So, like I say, we're going to pick out a few that I can speak on. Not diminishing anyone else's achievement. I just don't know enough about some of the other awards to sort of give my opinion, but I'm going to pick out the ones that I've been following. Now, this was held last night at time of recording, at Friday, July the 25th, at the Hilton San Diego Bayfront Hotel, and was hosted by Phil LaMarr and Bill Morrison. Like I say, the 32 categories. There's lots of winners. Now, the Beat itself, which is where this article is from, by Samantha, The Beat, who are also celebrating their 20th anniversary. They picked up the Best Comics-Related Periodical Journalism Eisner, and very, very well done to you guys. Heidi McDonald has been running the show for 20 years. I've been following it for as many, so I'm really pleased to see rewards given for the effort put in. So let's have a little looky. There are some highlights, but we're gonna quickly just scroll down here. So, best short story. I've not read all of those, but Spaces by Phil Jimenez won in DC Pride 2004 issue 1. As you are following, we go through this. So, best single issue, one shot, The War on Gaza by Joe Sacco. And I've not read this. Fantagraphics put some great books out, but I've not seen it. And it beat out Ice Cream Man 39, Abortion Pill Zine, not seen any of the PP Poo Poo #1. That sounds interesting. And Sunflowers and Unwholesome Love by Charles Burns, who is a huge creator. So, that must be an incredible book. I'm going to try and pick it up at some point. So, best continuing series was interesting. So, we had Wonder Woman by Tom King, Ultimate Spider-Man Jonathan Hickman, Fantastic Four by Ryan North. I don't know why that's there. Detective Comics by Ram V, Department of Truth by James Tinian, and Santos Sisters by Greg and Fake, Graham Smith, Dave Landsberger, and Mark Koprinov won that. Now, I've not read it. Out of all of those, I would have put my money on Ultimate Spider-Man, but I am slightly biased because I love Ultimate Spider-Man and Jonathan Hickman. And that's not to say Ram V and James Tinian IV and Tom King or anything to sniff at, because those are huge creators. So that is a big award. Now, the best limited series was a surprise for me. Not because of what won, but because it was something that I wouldn't have thought was nominated, and in fact was one of my favourite books when it came out. So Zatanna, Bring Down the House by Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez beat out Rare Flavors by Ram V and Felipe Andrade, Helen of Windhorn by Tom King and Bilquis Evely, which is a huge book, The Deviant by James Tinian IV and Joshua Hickson, Animal Pound by Tom King, which is great, and Peter Gross, and Alan Scott, The Green Lantern by Tim Sheridan and Sian Tawney. Now, I've not read the Alan Scott book, but I've read pretty much all of the others. So again, I was really shocked because, it was a great book, and I'm really pleased that it was put out there. If you haven't read it, it's actually absolutely worth picking up. So, it follows Zatara. Now, she's the DC Universe's sort of premier sorceress, magician, and her past and present are starting to collide, right? And a dazzling spectacle in Las Vegas. And after a tragic magical mishap in her past, she's really wary of using her powers. So this story is set early on, I think before she even joins the Justice League. But anyway, Zatara sticks to sleight of hand at a rundown casino until a mysterious stranger unleashes chaos and opens this interdimensional portal. Now, she's forced to embrace her true magic and become more than just a sort of stage magician. So she confronts demons, old wounds, an arch enemy, Allura, mistress of the dark elements. It's visually spectacular, and it balances high-stakes action with emotional depth. And it's reintroduced Zatanna, I think, as a captivating hero to me, and long-time fans and newcomers. So I'm really pleased that picked up because it was really good, and the art is stunning. It's written really well. It was a surprise highlight last year, actually. So, best new series. Now, this is a huge one. I mean, you look. Let's look at the titles here. We've got Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Minor Arcana, The Pedestrian, The Power Fantasy, Uncanny Valley. That's a huge lineup. And I'm not surprised, but Absolute Wonder Woman, it picked up the win, and it beat out the Power Fantasy of all books and Absolute Batman, which is an absolute juggernaut of a book right now for DC and sales numbers. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because, to be honest, out of all the Absolute books, Absolute Wonder Woman is my favourite. Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman are doing something really different there. I mean, all the Wonder Woman that I've I've read in the past has sort of focused on Diana the warrior, you know, this sort of statuesque bastion of womanhood and power. And it rarely reflects the other side, the person, the Diana. It's always about Wonder Woman. And that's what Kelly Thompson, Hayden Sherman have done here, is they're focusing on the other side of the coin. You're hearing her thoughts, her feelings, her doubts. You know, you're with her with the wins and you're with her with the losses. And it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating to see Wonder Woman as fallible, you know. So I love what she's doing, and that's why I think this book has risen to the absolute top. It is superb. I love it. That's not to say the power fantasy isn't good, because Kieran Gillen and Caspar Wynyard are blowing me away with that book too. It is this global spanning sort of warning and story about power and how to use it and who should be in power and who should have power. It's incredible. It's one of my favorite books, absolute favorite books of the year. So I'd recommend you pick that up. Again, I can't speak to these because I don't really know much about them. So let's skip through and see what we've got. Let's see. So there is one here which I'm trying to find. There's so many. Look at this: best archival collection, best comics related periodical journalism. Okay, The Beat, which won? Beat out ICV2, Inks, Soul Rad, and Zdarsky Comics. So again, well done, Heidi McDonald, and all the other people that contributed to Comics Beat. It is my daily go-to. I always like reading the news there. So amazing news to hear The Beat picking up an award. Now, this is the purely selfish one. Now, I've been a graphic designer and branding specialist for 33 years. Yes, very, very long time. So I always like to see who picks up basically the graphic design award, right? Purely selfish, but it just tickles me a little bit. So we've got some big names there, some big books in particular. So the one that won was David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One Artist Edition, designed by Chip Kidd, who is, again, he is a massive name in graphic design in the comic book industry. But I mean, looking at the other books that were there, it's beat out Brian Bolland's Batman the Killing Joke and Other Stories Art and Gallery Edition, which was gorgeous. That was some graffiti designs. Josh Beatman was the designer on it. And the Scott Pilgrim's 20th anniversary color hardcover box set. I mean, have you seen this thing in real life? It is absolutely gorgeous. It is stunning. It is, put it in your like display case and don't touch it, beautiful. So I mean, it went up against some tough competition. But that David Mazzucchelli book is beautiful as well. I don't know if you've picked it up. If you haven't, basically it's a deluxe hardcover celebrating the 1987 origin tale of Batman. It's 144 page oversized edition. It showcases Mazzucchelli's original layouts. It's got pencils, inks, and it chronicles Bruce Wayne's first year as Gotham's Dark Knight, as you know. So Kidd's meticulous design and Mazzucchelli's new introduction have elevated this to a collector piece, really. Again, it's one of those books you put on the mantelpiece and just look at in awe. And it really reveals the artistry behind a comic book masterpiece. So it's expensive, but it's worth it. It's beautiful. And again, Chip Kidd, he's been a preeminent American designer and author for many years. He's profoundly shaped the visual landscape of comics. So again, it's no surprise that he's picked up that award. I mean, he's won some huge awards. If you know about design, he's watched the AIGA medal. It's like his list of awards is as long as both my arms put together. So again, pretty impressive indeed. So best writer. Now this is one I can't speak to actually, because I've not heard of Jean-Ren Yang before, and Lunar New Year Love Story. So if this is something I should pick up, let me know. I'm going to look into it anyway. But again, look at the competition. You've got James Tynion IV, Kelly Thompson, Ram V, Tom King. These are absolute powerhouse writers, and to beat them out for best writer, that has got to be a pretty spectacular piece of work. So I'm convinced that I'm going to read it now, purely because it's won an Eisner. So very happy with that. And again, same with best writer and artist, Charles Burns. Again, huge. This is for his comics from Fantagraphics and various other things. Again, I've not read it. I read his Black Hole many years ago when I was discovering comics and alternative comics. So again, it's no surprise to see Charles Burns there. I definitely recommend you look into him. So the best penciler and inker. Now this is an interesting one, because again, look at the names. You've got Luen Pham, Javier Rodriguez, Manu Larsenet, Nick Dragotta, Felipe Andrade. Now Nick Dragotta is having the time of his life at the moment with Absolute Batman. His work is stunning. I used to, I do. I review all of the Absolute Batmans. And the thing about that book every month is the art. I love the art. True story. I did put a video up, which I put a terrible title to it because I didn't like the writing. So sorry, Scott Snyder. And I was informed that it probably wasn't fair on Nitrogota because it might reflect that I'm talking about his art, which I wasn't. I have tried to issue an apology and I've taken the video down. This is my early days of YouTube, but no, Nitrogota's art is stunning. I absolutely love it. And again, it's the highlight of the book, and the book is is up and down for me at the moment. It's up because he's just gone crazy, but it's fantastic. But what won? Bilquis Everly for Helen of Windhorn from Dark Horse. Now this again is a standout book. Of course, it's won an Eisner. Of course, it's standout. But if you haven't read Helen of Windhorn, it's written by Tom King. It's like a lush gothic fantasy, and it follows Helen, who's a young woman navigating a mysterious otherworldly estate after a tumultuous childhood. Now, it blends elements of folklore and psychological drama, and the story, it delves into Helen's encounters with supernatural forces and her own sort of buried traumas, right? And it's set against this opulent, eerie backdrop of the Windhorn Manor. So it's intricate, it's beautiful, it's really, really emotional tale, and I think... it's definitely worth picking up if you haven't. I think it was nominated for 4 awards this year, so it's good to see that it's at least won one. I mean, we'll find out once I go through it. Moving on to another fan favourite of mine, and that's the Best Painter Multimedia Artist. Again, looking at these names, like Eduardo Risso's won it for The Blood Brothers Mother, and I love Eduardo Risso, absolutely love his work. I first discovered him on 100 Bullets, and I've never looked back. His art just stands out all the time. If you don't know who he is, he's quite an acclaimed comic book artist. He's renowned for sort of moody, high contrast style and dynamic storytelling. He rose to prominence, like I say, with 100 Bullets alongside longtime collaborator Brian Azzarello. His work blends sort of noir, crime, and gritty realism, and has earned him multiple Eisner Awards, all very well won. And his art is characterized by bold lines and cinematic compositions, and he's been in Batman. He's done some creator own stuff in Moonshine, Torpedo. He's doing some, like I say, he's doing the I've lost my track for a second. The Blood Brothers Mother book over at Distillery, having an amazing Eisners. Actually, they're doing really well. Lots of noms, and the Blood Brothers Mothers just stand out. You can see this man has like matured. His art's matured. It was amazing at the beginning. You can't think it can get any better, and it really, really does. Now the Blood Brothers Mother. Again, like I say, it's from Brian Azzarello, who he usually collaborates with. It's a brutal, brutal Western epic, and it follows these 3 runaway slaves, a mother and her 2 sons, and they're pursued by a relentless posse across a blood-soaked American frontier. And there's a backdrop of raw violence, moral ambiguity, and like the story explores themes of survival, vengeance, and like unyielding bonds of family. It is super, super, super cool. I would pick it up if you could. They've crafted a real dark, unforgettable story there. I absolutely love it. So, best colouring, Geordie Belair. No surprise there. He's having a fantastic time. Best lettering, again, Clayton Cowles. Again, these are all names I expected to see. So, those are sort of the ones that I was following, the ones that I kind of were interested in. There is one more, hopefully, that I was going to look at. Best cover artist. Here we go. So, Tula Lotay, so I sort of was introduced to her right at the beginning, I think, just as she was breaking into comics, and I instantly fell in love with her work. So again, no surprise that she's taken Best Cover Artist. She's a British comic book artist and writer too, and she is celebrated for a sort of ethereal, paintery style and evocative storytelling. She's founder of the Thought Bubble Festival, which is like a Comic Con over here in the UK where I'm based, and she has made significant contributions to comics through her work like Supreme Blue Rose, I think it is, Soma, quite a few titles on Distillery actually, and Helen of Windhorn, of course. Now her art is often blends like dreamlike visuals and has all this emotional depth, and it's earned her multiple Eisner nominations, and I'm so pleased she's won. She's got this unique aesthetic and a commitment to fostering like comic culture, and have established her as a leading voice in the industry, and I wouldn't be surprised if she goes on to be inducted to the Hall of Fame in 20 years time. So she's fantastic. But those are the ones I wanted to pick out because those ones I was following and I could speak to. But we've got some more news up here. Let's have a look. Expertly written by Samantha from Eisner Award-winning The Beat. So go check that out. That is comicsbeat.com. Go check it out. So it says, here we go. Dave Mancelli's Batman Year One Arts Edition from IW Publishing won in both of its nominated categories. So it's 1, 2, and Lunar New Year Love Story, published by First Second, won in 3 of 4 categories it was nominated for. Wow. DC Comics led total publisher wins with 5 trophies, 2 of them shared. Fantagraphics first, second, IDW Publishing tied with 4 wins each. Fantagraphics and IDW each sharing 1 win respectively. There were some surprise wins this year with a diverse pool of creators seeing their work recognised by their peers, and it really, really was. So the annual 21st annual Bill Finger Award for excellence in comic book writing to filmmaker, novelist, and comics writer Don Glott and late animator, writer, and artist Sheldon Mayer. The honorees were chosen unanimously by the selection committee, consisting of chair of Mark Evanier, Charles Cookman, Kurt Busiek, wow, Jim Amash, Scott Shaw, and Marv Wolfman. Wow. So Mayer's granddaughter Shelley Mayer accepted for him alongside her support dog. Glott accepted his own award and began his speech by announcing, "No, I'm not dead, nor has he retired." Wow. So there were some more awards there. This year's Bob Clamper Humanitarian Award went to the LA Strong charity comic, which was beautiful. That was out from Mad Cage. My good long real life friend Ian Churchill drew the cover, and it was beautiful, and I recommend everyone get it if you haven't already, or just read it again, if you haven't already read it in a while, because it was lovely. And that was to it aided comics industry members impacted by the LA wildfires. Mike Martz from Mad Cave accepts saying, when we set out to create LA Strong, we weren't thinking about winning awards. We were thinking about our dear friends. There is no industry quite like ours. And then there was a 2005 Hall of Inductees. Many, many people there. So all in all, it was a really, really interesting Eisners. I love watching the Eisners every year, and hopefully I will be in San Diego Comic-Con next year to watch it in person. But there we go. What do you think of the awards? Do you think the people that won deserved it? Who do you think should have won in their place? Just let me know what you think. I'm always interested to know other people's opinions. But again, those are mine. Let me know yours, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Take care now. And also, before I forget, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's always good.